definitely during my horrible, long drug addiction to heroin and cocaine in my early 20s, that I can attest that this happens. You start out doing something that doesn't seem that bad, and then it's like a snowball. It just builds on itself, builds on itself, builds on itself until it's so big that you don't actually notice it anymore. Like, I don't know. It's like the environment becomes you, if you would. And it's not that good. Even, I mean, Lot's daughters are spared, but, and Abraham asks God, he says, why are you going to kill the good people with the bad people? I mean, you can't just, why is there no like separating the groups? Like, why would you just kill everybody? And he's like, if I find, like, I think they barter it down to, like, I think he has to find 10 good people that are on the righteous path, and then God will consider not wiping out the city. But first of all, I don't think he even comes up with 10 people. And second of all, I think that once that whole thing with Lot's daughters, like, and the angels and all that, I mean, God's just like, forget it, like, just forget it. And, like, Lot doesn't do much better. I mean, I feel like I'm trash talking this Bible character, but he's not it's not my favorite character for certain. Because when his wife gets turned into a pillar of salt, what does he do? Does he find a new wife? No. He sleeps with his daughters and starts two separate new lines of, I don't know, like, legacy, or descendants off the daughters. So, like, it just shows that even though he was spared, it's like whatever was the sexual depravity in that city had, like, infiltrated him. It gotten, like, in him. Like, and then I'm not just saying, like, oh, everyone's good and then some people just make bad choices and then become bad. I mean, a lot of people are born super, they psychopaths or sociopaths, or I guess narcissists. So that's, like, I get sick of that word. It seems like it's everywhere. It's a big, giant problem. I think there's more to do with spiritual warfare than anything else with that, but that's a separate video. But I'm trying to think what was the other part of this story I wanted to talk about. I guess just, there's a quote that says, it's a philosophy quote, but I want to say it's Nietzsche, but I don't know if it was Nietzsche. Though he says something similar. There's this quote that says, if you spend enough time with a monster and you let him tell you his backstory, or, like, why he became a monster, or, everybody has a story, right? Even monsters. That be careful, because you might fall in love with him, or you might become so sympathetic to the story that you forget that he's a monster and he's going to eat you, And I think Nietzsche, it's like, if you stare too long on the abyss, you become the abyss. It's just this basic concept that we become what we surround ourselves with, what we indulge in, what we don't monitor in ourselves will keep, multiplying, until it overtakes us. I mean, this is clear with addictions. And I don't think if my drug addiction hadn't veered into using needles and shooting up, I don't know if it would have lasted even longer than the 3.5, 4 years. But once you really, really get into the darkest part of dark, it's like it speeds up your rock bottom. You just sort of, where you were edging towards the cliff to fall off. It's like once you like fully go in with your addictions like 100% and you devote yourself to it, it's like rock bottom and like a total annihilation of your person, whatever makes you a person, whatever makes you unique, your own vitality. It's just all goes, like a nosedive, into hell. And it's like, it goes pretty fast after that. Whereas if you aren't doing, if you're able to keep pulling yourself out of it, out of whatever your addictions are, and you don't fully turn yourself over to them, then sometimes you don't hit rock bottom, and sometimes it's like you're just dabbling in, I don't know, like trying to fill the void in yourself and avoid who you're supposed to become in this lifetime. Like your own reality, I guess. You're just pushing it off. But you don't like truly go downhill. The second thing that happened to me when I was highly drug addicted during that time period is from shooting up instead of snorting it, I got hepatitis C, which is, it's like a blood disease that you're gonna get it from contaminated needles. And I got that, and it's, basically it'll just you'll get cirrhosis if it's left. And I don't know what you want to call it. If you don't get treatment for it, it'll just, like, this was in my early 20s, but it won't happen right away. It'll take a few decades, but it'll slowly destroy your liver if you don't do anything about it. So, I mean, I was lucky because, other people I was around, OD'd, and, some of them, got infected with HIV, like it's a horrible addiction, because it takes over. There's nothing. It's like once you hit that level, you can't control yourself. It's like you're an animal. You're not really a person, in my opinion. You just live for your addiction, and it rules your life, and it rules everything you do, and it just takes over your whole life, and that is your life. That is your life. Seeking the drug, getting the money for the drug, being completely zonked out from the drug, and then going through the whole thing all over again, and then over again, and then over again, and over again, every single day, over and over and over again, until sometimes you just wish you were dead. Well, not sometimes, a lot of times, because you can't control yourself, and it's so annihilating to have something that controls you, like an outside source that controls your mind, controls you. And there's nothing strong enough to relieve it at all, like not even anything. I mean, most drug addicts don't ever stop until, it's just of all addictions, any addiction. They don't stop until something really horrible happens to them, really, because the psychological, physical manifestations are, you can't overcome them. And you'll just keep doing worse and worse and worse and worse things to keep doing that. But yeah, when I got hepatitis C, this was a long time ago, it was like in the 90s. So, they didn't have, like now they have pills for, it's called interferon. It's almost like a mild chemotherapy type drug that you take, and if you take it for 6 months or almost a year, it can it can put the hepatitis C in remission. And so then it won't be actively fucking up your liver. But back then, it was only in syringes, ironically, right? After I was sober. I'd inject it in my stomach and every day, and I had to do that for, I think it was 6 to 8 months, and then it went into remission, and it's been in remission ever since. I get tested every 5 years for it, but I mean, I have a slight liver damage, but because it does do some damage. You're not gonna get away with nothing, but it's not anything like what I would have had, if I hadn't had that treatment. But I guess I'm only just talking about this, so I guess I'm just giving people who say shitty things about me online more fuel to the fire, because you can make fun of that if you want. Okay, whatever. But hopefully people who have had that, any kind of disease or illness from making the wrong choices, because it was certainly my own decisions that landed me with that, and I had no one to blame but myself. Hopefully anybody who's hiding what they're personally going through from other people will feel something from knowing you're not the only one who deals with shame and blaming yourself, but it did, in a weird way, it did help me get off drugs, because I really thought I was gonna, maybe get HIV or AIDS. If I kept going, or OD like everybody else. I mean, I was rushed to the hospitals multiple times, but I was brought back. I didn't die, so other people weren't that lucky. But I remember I got pneumonia. I got pneumonia real bad in my early 20s, and it was from the drug addiction and not taking care of myself. And I remember I was in the hospital bed, and I could hear the nurse and like a doctor talking like near me, but I guess they thought I was asleep. But I remember one of them asking if I was homeless, because I was, I had the drug addiction then, and it's lame. I even had somebody bring in heroin for me to snort while I was recovering from pneumonia in a hospital bed. And I don't know why any nurse or doctor didn't catch that, but that's how addicted I was. But just hearing them talk about me in the third person like that, to think that somebody would think I was homeless, like that's like how bad I must have looked. I mean, I was so skinny, and my skin didn't look right. It didn't look right. I mean, when you're that drug addicted, you look like fucking garbage. But the weird thing about this society is, honestly, when I was addicted to heroin, I got more compliments about my body and losing weight, like, as a positive. I was just like, this is crazy. Like, this just shows you how fucked up the people are, that I'm like literally killing myself, and everyone's like, oh my God, you look great. So how'd you lose the weight? You could just buy anything you want at any store. You can wear anything. You're like a size 4. What the hell? It's like, yeah. Saw the track marks on my arms. You wouldn't think I was so stunning. Okay, sure. It's a win. I'm skinny now. But I don't know. I don't know how I got off on this tangent. But yeah, my pneumonia was super, it was a bad case. And because I was a drug addict while I had pneumonia, that was the problem. And it's like, even when I don't even want to get into it, but like, when I was recovering from that for, off my job for, I don't even know how long, a month or something. I was just living in horrible conditions, and taking drugs while taking the antibiotics, and like, I could have easily died, easily, because I was just like The Walking Dead, like a zombie. Like, I wasn't even like a real person. I remember having pneumonia, and just before I even went to the hospital, I had been like fever dreams, and I was just in a slip in this apartment, and like, I think the heat had been shut off because I couldn't pay the electric bill, and I was just shivering, and I was using this, whole place was trash. All the weird people that were in and out, and I hadn't been paying rent. It was just a disaster. And I had my grandmother's old mink coat, and I was using it as a blanket Because, like, I couldn't, like, the idea of, like, actually doing laundry and making a bed or even having a sheet or a pillowcase. No. Like, when you're on drugs, no. None of that is happening. None of that. No. It's like the worst state that you can imagine. And I was so sick, I was just in and out of delirium. And fevers. I had such terrible fevers, like 104. And I was shivering, and I just couldn't function enough to I couldn't function out of my drug addiction to actually go to the ER for like weeks. It took me weeks. A coworker came and like really helped me because I couldn't even just like get food together. I just couldn't function at all. And I honestly just wanted to sleep through everything. I just wanted to sleep through my life. I couldn't stand my life. Now, when I look back at it, it's like I was living in Manhattan. I mean, in a shitty part of Manhattan, but I was still living in Manhattan with 90s rent, which is not New York rent today. And, you know, I did have it was not a high-paying job, but I had a job with friends and stuff and community, and I would kill to be living in New York right now. And it's like I just pissed it away, just all of that. I just wasn't grateful for it. I just wanted to, all this stuff about my mom and severe abuse and rape stuff that had happened in my teenage years. I just wanted to not think about any of it. And I just wanted to do drugs and play Billie Holiday and not be responsible for anything. That was like my solution, I guess. And, eventually you always wake up and you have to deal with all that stuff anyway. And then on top of it, you have all these other new problems that you've gathered because you're like parasite on society, basically. Anyway, I think I'll end this video because it's time. It's actually 10 minutes over time. Well, this has been a really enchantingly pleasant video, hasn't it? Just a lot of pleasant topics. Okay.